name is Jenny Douay, Nutrition Programs Coordinator and Registered Dietitian at the St. Louis Area Food Bank. Today we're shooting our November cooking demonstration, which is going to be a healthier version of our favorite green bean casserole that we have around the holiday season. So this recipe only calls for a few ingredients and a few pieces of equipment. It's going to call for a bag of frozen green beans. You're also welcome to use canned or fresh, but this recipe specifically calls for a 9-ounce bag of frozen green beans. And then we're also using a reduced sodium or healthier version of our cream of mushroom soup. It calls for a fresh onion and fresh mushrooms as well. And then we also have some flour, salt, and low fat or reduced fat milk and cooking spray. So not too many ingredients, and you're definitely able to substitute it in any way that you would like to. So the first step of this recipe, and what makes it actually healthier than the traditional green bean casserole, is that we are using a fresh onion. So we're slicing up our onion and we're actually baking the onions as the first step instead of using the traditional boxed French onions that go on top of the green bean casserole. So we have our onions and we cut them up into little strips, and then we're going to put them in this bowl. I'm going to cut the rest of this onion up as well. And the good thing about this is because it's fresh, you're really getting those nutrients from the onion, which they are full of antioxidants that are really great for just general overall health, and have great vitamins and minerals in them. So you just want to make sure that the onion is cut into little strips like this, and then kind of mix it up in your bowl. And what we're going to do is we are going to use 2 tablespoons of flour. So it's going to give that kind of flavor to it as well. And then we're going to mix that all together, and then it just calls for a pinch of salt. So I'm just going to use about a teaspoon of salt to kind of give it that extra flavor in there. And we're just going to mix that up in our bowl here until it's fully coated. And all we're going to do is spray our baking pan, and we cook that in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes at 400 degrees until those onions are nice and crispy. And again, this is just a much kind of more nutritious way to do the topping for this green bean casserole instead of our boxed fried onions. So I'm going to spray this pan here, and we are going to spread our onions out all over our pan. Just make sure that they're nice and spread out so that they cook evenly and thoroughly. And in the oven, we're going to cook them for about, again, 10 to 15 minutes until they're crispy. So it's kind of a personal preference as well. I'm going to slice this one up a little bit more here. But yeah, so this will be the first step. We're going to go put this in the oven, and then afterwards I will put together the rest of the green bean casserole for you. Okay, so now while our onions are baking in the oven at 400 degrees for about 15 minutes, we're going to be chopping up some of these fresh mushrooms to saute and add to our casserole. Mushrooms, surprisingly, are actually a great source of vitamin D, which is great for our bones and our overall keeping us strong, keeping our bones strong. And it's really difficult to find vitamin D in food. So mushrooms are an awesome source of vitamin D, and they provide antioxidants, and they're also delicious, especially sauteed. So I'm excited to add fresh mushrooms to this. We're going to saute them for just a few minutes. It doesn't take very long to cook mushrooms, and then we're going to add everything into the casserole dish here with our green beans and our soup and our milk and our mushrooms, and then we are going to put that in the oven as well and combine everything once those are done. So we're going to finish sauteing these mushrooms here and put it all together to finish up the recipe. Okay, so we have our mushrooms sauteed nice and soft before putting them in the casserole dish. And then we just mix everything together. So we're going to put the entire bag of frozen green beans in this casserole dish here. And frozen green beans are a really great choice because they really hold on to those nutrients. When things are frozen, those nutrients stay in there. You can also use canned green beans. The nutrition in frozen versus canned is the same. There's just a little bit more extra sodium in canned vegetables and fruits and things like that. So you just want to make sure that you wash your canned green beans if you are using them. And you can also use fresh green beans as well. And then we're going to add actually I'm going to put the mushrooms in first. And then we're going to add our soup. this over to this one. Still pretty hot there. We're gonna add our soup, and I chose a Campbell's Healthy Request soup. It's just only 70 calories. It's lower in sodium, or lower in sodium, and so it's just a better choice as far as nutrition and health is concerned. A lot of times soups are loaded with sodium, which is can impact your heart health. So we're gonna get that all mixed up, and then it calls for 3/4 a cup of milk. You can use non-fat milk, low-fat milk, or 2% milk. This recipe calls for skim or 1%. So here's 1/4. We're gonna do 2/4 and 3/4. Get this all mixed up together. Use our spoon to get this nice and put together. And remember that we have those onions baking downstairs in the oven. So once this is all done, we'll combine everything and have one delicious green bean casserole. You really want to make sure that you get that mushroom soup spread throughout the entire casserole dish so that it's not just hanging out over one portion. But you know, this is just a healthier version. Obviously, you can substitute in any way with this, but using those fresh onions, fresh mushrooms are really going to add more nutritional benefits to this recipe. And then those frozen green beans, just packed with nutrients as well. They're higher in fiber, so they're high in fiber. They're not higher than canned green beans in fiber, but they're high in fiber in general, and so it's great for digestive health and gut health. And so just a great recipe option for the holidays this year if you're looking for a healthier alternative. And then you can also top it with just a little extra salt and pepper to give you just some extra flavor to that on the top. I'll just do like about a teaspoon on there, keep that salt content down a little bit. And then we're gonna bake this for about 30 minutes still downstairs at 400 degrees. And then at the end, we will top it with our baked mushrooms, or baked onions, not mushrooms, and it will be delicious. So this is looking pretty good. It looks pretty evenly spread out, and it looks like we are ready to bake it. So we will see you in about 30 minutes as we see the final product. Okay, so we have our final product of our healthy green bean casserole for the holidays. I'll give you guys a close-up picture of it, but it looks really delicious, nice and soft, and it smells really good. So the last step of this is we are going to add those onions that I put into this bowl that we baked. So it gives them that crispy feel right on top. So mix that all around. And some people, love onions and like it to be completely loaded with onions. You can also have added onions into it when you were doing the mushrooms. So you could also add onions so that it's throughout the entire green bean casserole. But this will give it a nice little crunch, and it looks and smells just like your traditional green bean casserole, just with some more nutrients and just a healthier version. So I hope that you like it and try it out, and if you do, definitely let me know and give your feedback. So that concludes our November cooking demonstration, and please let me know what you would like to see in the future for these demos. We have been using the recipes that we use on our website for our pantry to plate recipes that are all simple, easy to put together recipes that use many of the ingredients that you might find at the food pantries. So please let me know what you would like to see. If there's an item or ingredient that you have come across that you don't know how to use, or that you're seeing more regularly but you're not sure how to cook with, definitely let me know, and I'm happy to put together a recipe or a demo to show you how to utilize the foods that you're receiving. So you can reach me at J, D as in dog, U, E, Z as in zebra, at stlfoodbank.org, and definitely check out our pantry to plate section at our website at www.stlfoodbank.org. And we will see you next month for December and do another kind of holiday themed recipe as well. So thanks for watching today, and we'll see you next month.